Hey everybody, I'm Goddess Intuition and this is the Venus Talk. So we are going to go over Venus in the different houses, alright? Alright, so we're going to go over Venus in the different houses and what this can mean for you and your relationships. I'm also going to cover the signs that Venus represents. So that would be Taurus and Libra, alright? So let's get started. So when it comes to Venus in the first house, this also has to do or can be represented by Libra in your first house. So that would make you a Libra rising or a Taurus rising, all right? Because these are the houses, or the signs rather, represented by Venus. So when you have Venus in your first house, you could be very naturally charming, have a lot of appeal. You could also be very good at persuading people. You could really love art as well. So you could be a visual artist, or you could just be the type of person that likes to collect art and beautiful things. You might be interested in antiques. You could be interested in fashion design, and you love aesthetics. So some people may misunderstand you as being a very vain person, but in reality, you enjoy the beauty that is represented by different things in everyday life. And you're able to see the divine in the everyday things that we see that many people may overlook, such as a beautiful sunset or seeing a nice piece of clothing that you appreciate in a shop that other people may just see as too expensive and pass over, all right? You're able to see the divine and the divinity in things that we find aesthetically pleasing. And part of your role in life is to bring beauty to the world. You may identify as having a lot of Pleiadian energy. You might identify as someone who's very artistic as well, okay? So these are some of the things that come to the surface when you have Venus in your first house, or when you're a Taurus or a Libra rising. If you're a Libra rising, the way that this is going to manifest in your life is that you like to bring value to your identity and who you are through your relationships. So you build your identity around those who you associate with, or around those things that you associate yourself with, okay? So you're very careful in how you dress. You're very careful in how you represent yourself, because you know people are going to talk and you want to make sure they say the right things. So if you have Taurus here, you're the type of person that is attracted to luxury, to beauty, all right, to things that people find valuable. And you like to surround yourself with luxurious things. And for you, this adds to your personal value, okay? You're the type of person who would rather invest in something that is, say, a luxury item that you're going to have for a long time because you specifically like it, and you like to get things that make you feel not only beautiful but comfortable as well, because comfort is next to godliness for you, as well as beauty is next to godliness for you as well. But we'll get into that later. So when you have Venus here in your first house, one of the things you want to be careful with is people pleasing. Because you appeal to so many people, you can almost get addicted to pleasing others and to appealing to what they want, because you're so used to being able to sway a crowd. So what you really want to do when you have Venus in your first house is think about, especially if you're a Libra rising, what do I like? What's important to me, okay? What is it that I want to get from my experience in this day or in this interaction with this other person? Because by putting the focus back on you, you're going to be able to break that negative cycle of people pleasing. You're going to be able to really focus on what it is that you want as a person and what's important for you, instead of always appealing to the other. With Venus in your second house, you could be excellent at investing. This is the house placement of the domestic goddess, all right? So you might be really good at interior design, at making your house into a home. You might be an excellent cook, or you'll be the type of person that when people come over, you like to make them feel at home, okay? You like to make them feel comfortable so that they want to come back. You're very hospitable, and your outlook towards people being in your space is my home is your home, okay? My house is your house. So you want to be very careful about being overly accommodating with people, but you also could turn your expertise at making others comfortable into a profession. You could also be really good at investing in things such as stocks, at playing the stock market, because this is the house of value, all right? You could end up being an excellent interior designer. You could even be good at opening up your own cooking business or your own fashion design business, modeling anything that has to do with appearances, with beauty, with luxury, with aesthetics, okay, is going to be the area where you can succeed at. You could also be a really good relationship counselor as well, because with Venus here, you're naturally inclined to be able to see how relationships work and the dynamics of relationships, as well as really building chemistry between people. You're probably the type of person who's able to pick people in a room that you want to be friends with and naturally build those relationships, okay? Because you're able to see what appeals to certain people, what makes them tick, and also how to really click with them emotionally. You're naturally in tune with people emotionally, just out of instinct, okay? So you're really good with being able to not only work a crowd, especially when it comes to at your own place of work, but you're also really good at being able to understand innately the emotional inner workings of people. When you have Venus in your third house, this could make you really good with technology and communication. You're the type of person who could be great naturally at human resources or at communicating in a beautiful way that people are able to understand. You could even be a very eloquent speaker as well, someone who's able to get a point across to multiple different people and phrase it in multiple different ways, okay? So before, I'm actually going to go ahead and jump back to Venus in the second house here, so that we can cover Libra and Taurus in these areas. So when you have Libra in your second house, this really makes you a people person, okay? This makes you the type of person who is able to not only appeal to different people, but you're able to really work a room, okay? You can go to any social gathering and adapt to the energy of that room, okay? So you be the type of person who could be really good at working in public relations or human resources or any profession where you have to deal with many, many different types of people, different groups, and be able to adapt and fit in. So even if the group doesn't authentically represent who you truly are, you're able to be a chameleon in these settings and really morph into what's needed for the setting to be able to make money or make things work, because the second house is the house of money as well, okay? You could be really good at fashion design, specifically with Libra here. You could also be good at making other people look good, okay? So this could have to do with dressing other people. This could have to do with building other people's reputation, representing other people as well, okay? So those are some things to keep in mind when you have Libra in the second house. What you also want to make sure of is that you are voicing your own opinions, okay? With Libra here, it can make you a little bit of, the type of person who morphs too much to what other people want to hear. It can make you the type of person who says what other people want to hear instead of really expressing your own views, because you could put a lot of value into appealing to the wants and needs of others in order to add value to your life. So for instance, it's a really good quality to have if you're trying to make a sale, is to appeal to other people and tell them how a product could fit them. But when it comes to your own intimate and personal relationships, always trying to appeal to the other person, what you can do for them, how you can benefit them, how you can help them, can leave you out of the picture, okay? So it can mean that you're appealing to what the other person wants and not giving them the opportunity to tell you what it is that they can do for you, okay, and how they can benefit you in your own life, okay? So you could end up in a lot of relationships where you give value to other people, but they're not necessarily as giving as much value to you as you're giving to them, and they don't add as much value to your life as you may add to theirs. So you want to be careful of that. So you can pick quality people in your life who are givers in the same way that you are. Also, if you have the Venusian sign of Taurus in your second house, this could make you really good at, again, investing in antique items. Why? Because Taurus rules luxury, okay? You could be really good at selling luxury items. You could even want to open up a store that is built around a luxury item, such as, it could be, toiletries, luxury soaps, luxury, it could be gourmet foods, it could be something, like collecting art or whatever the case might be. Whatever fits your interest, your line of interest when it comes to things that make people feel comfortable, at ease, and beautiful, okay? That is what you're going to excel in if you have Taurus in the second house. You also bring a lot of value to your relationships. You are the type of person that people know they can rely on. You're the first person that people call probably when they want someone who is able to be compassionate, understanding, patient, and who's also able to make them feel deeply comforted on a nurturing level. So not only are you valuable to those who you are in relationship with, but you are also the type of person that people probably see almost as a mother figure, or as that they're able to rely on an emotional level, okay? So while Libra in the second house can enhance people's reputation, other people's reputation specifically, with Taurus here, you add value to the inner workings and the inner world of people's emotional life, and you're also able to make them feel good on an emotional level. Taurus adds a lot of inner value and also has to do with enhancing beauty from the inside out on an earthy level. So Taurus brings an earthy energy to the Venusian energy of a Venusian sign being in this house. So that being said, you're a very grounded person, okay? You're the type of person that when you walk into a room, people don't just notice you, but they're also very aware of how you make them feel, okay? And there's probably a sense of you being very easygoing, but also putting people at ease, okay? So back to Venus in the third house. So when you have Venus in this mercurial house, okay, this is that house where Gemini usually sits, all right? This is the house that you would typically see Gemini in, okay? So the third house is represented by, or ruled over by, Mercury. So when you have Venus in this house, you could be a little bit of a chatty Cathy, all right? You could be the type of person who can talk someone's ear off, but who can also talk them into the type of things that you want them to do, all right? This could be an excellent placement actually for a lawyer as well, because you're able to persuade people. You're able to talk faster than people can think, meaning that you can kind of guide their thoughts and their feelings. You also want to be careful with this, though, because when you have Venus in the third house, it can make you a little bit manipulative if you're not connected with your higher self and using it to the best of your ability. People can also kind of get wind of the fact that you might be trying to sway them in one direction or another, and you don't want to push people away with using your skills in the wrong manner, all right? This is an excellent skill or excellent placement for a salesperson, but you also could be really good just in general at public speaking. This is also a great placement to have if you want to get into social media, all right? Because you'll be able to appeal to the masses with your natural charisma. You could be also the type of person that wants to get into something like radio or where you use your voice, because you have a very appealing voice as well. You could even be a singer or somebody who is interested in using your vocal ability on some level in your career or profession. You could also, with Venus in the third house, be the type of person that is well known in your neighborhood, that is well known in the area in which you live, and that people love. So you could be the type of person who is loved in their neighborhood, who people speak well of, who is always welcome to come back from wherever, they've gone to, and people remember who you are and speak well of you to their friends and family, all right? You could be the type of person who's close with those in your neighborhood as well. When you have Libra in the third house, again, this makes you a very smooth talker, okay? When you have Libra here, you could be very good at being able to maintain a positive reputation or an appealing reputation via social media, okay? You could even market things such as beauty products. You could, market yourself as a model this way through social media as well and build a very appealing social personality. With Venus in the third house, you could be the type of person who is good at mediating between people, okay? So you could be the type of person who's able to negotiate between two people who don't see eye to eye, especially with Libra in this placement. Because as a Libra placement, or if you have Libra in the third house, you are able to see both sides, okay? And this is the good thing about having Libra in any house that you have Libra in, is that you're able to see other people's perspectives really empathically, is almost as if you're in their shoes, okay? So if you have Taurus here in the third house, you're very comforting when you speak. You probably have a very calming voice, or the type of person to put people at ease. This could make you really good in the area of caring for others, because you naturally calm them down. You naturally bring the energy of any situation down to a calming level, which is really good because it means that you're good at de-escalating conflicts. It means that you're good at being able to ground in any situation, as Taurus is a very earthy, down-to-earth, grounded sign. So when you have Taurus in your third house, you could be good at singing. This could be an excellent placement for a vocalist, especially if you sing things like smooth jazz, or if you have, a smooth voice where you're lending your vocal abilities to things of a calming nature, because that's naturally where your energy is going to go anyway. Also, with Taurus in your third house, one of the difficult things about this placement is because Taurus is such a stubborn sign, you could be very resistant when it comes to things like moving or change. So when your house, isn't necessarily, say your place of living isn't working for you anymore, say your house is, to the point where you just need to move, it's, needs to be repaired, and you need to just, go ahead and transition to a better place to live. Say you've sunk a lot of investments into your place where you're living and it's not worth the investment and you need to move on, all right? Having Taurus in this house is going to make you a little bit resistant to change. So when you have Taurus in your third house, it's very important to maintain a level of self-awareness so that you're aware of when it's time to move on, when it's time to move to the next thing, when it's time to evolve to the next level, all right? Because that way, when it's time to move on, you are not resisting the natural evolution of any situation. So let's move on to Venus in the fourth house. Now, Venus is the sign naturally of beauty, of relationships, and of finding value in those relationships, okay? Venus is known for being the planet of beauty, but it's not just about physical beauty, and it's not just about sexual appeal. Venus is also about value, about connection, about relationships, okay? So when we have Venus here sitting in the fourth house, you love your relationships, and you're probably a family-oriented person. Especially if you have Libra in your fourth house, you probably deeply associate with your family. You're probably a family guy or a family girl, somebody who either wants a family of their own and has always wanted that and longs for that in life, or you're probably the type of person who really identifies with your own family. This is the position, the planetary position of a family man, a family woman, someone who's always wanted to be a mom, or someone who loves children, who loves nurturing, who's always wanted to build a home for themselves, okay? So when you have Venus in this placement, you could be excellent at assisting other people as well in building the home of their dreams. This could be that you are good at things such as family counseling and building the inner structure of what makes a home, what makes a family, all right? Because this house of the home can express itself in many different ways depending on the other aspects and planetary positions in your specific natal chart, okay? So if you're interested in getting a natal chart reading with me to dig more into what your planetary positions mean for you, make sure you click on my shop link below and we can get into that. So when you have Venus in your fourth house, you could be excellent at family counseling, at helping people mediate the dynamics in their household so that they can understand and connect better with each other. You could be a great counselor in general with this placement, okay? The fourth house is naturally the house of Cancer. With Venus here, you're an excellent nurturer. This could be expressed as, you going into a profession like teaching, okay? You could be excellent with kids as well. You could be the type of person who wants to go into healthcare and that, is loved by their patients because of the fact that you have this natural nurturing quality. When you have Libra here in the fourth house, this is going to be the type of person who has a beautiful home. So when you have Libra in the fourth house, you are naturally going to have a house that is appealing, that is beautiful. You're probably going to keep it sparkling clean because this is going to represent your reputation, all right? You're going to be known for your home. You're going to be known for how you take care of your house, okay? Because Libra, whatever house that it's in is known for the things that it associates itself with, okay? So it's not just about your identity and who you are, it's also that you are known for the things that you seat yourself next to, okay? So when you are in your home, when you are associated with your surroundings, with the home that you're a part of, okay? This is going to be an area of life where you could be very high maintenance. You're going to like to keep a lot of decor around you that's not necessarily comfortable, but it's probably going to be expensive and it's probably going to be very appealing, and you're probably going to love when people talk about the decor in your house, okay? So it's going to be a lot of, have you seen the couch that she bought? Have you seen, his new antique that's in his house? Have you seen his decorations, the way he's remodeled his house? It's beautiful. It's going to be a lot of that for you. You could also be the type of person who's interested in building homes, who's interested in creating homes and creating it in a beautiful way that is remembered by people. When you have Taurus in your fourth house, you may love to cook. You may love to make people feel comfortable within the home. Also, with Taurus in your fourth house, you're the type of person who just likes to make people feel comfortable in general. You could be interested in massage therapy. You could be interested in any career where you work with your hands or where you work in a tactile way, meaning a physical way, that you are able to make other people feel at ease. You could be a massage therapist. You could like to, go into different fields like chiropractor, being a chiropractor. You could be interested in any field where you're able to put yourself to physical work in order to make other people feel at ease, at home, nurtured, feel as if they're healed from within and comfortable. You also love to help other people, all right? So you're the type of person who really puts a lot of their heart and soul into assisting others, into being there. You might be known in your friend group as the mother of your friend group, okay, as the person that people go to for counseling, for a sense of direction, okay, and really giving people that leadership quality, that leadership energy within a group or relationship dynamic. With Venus in the fifth house, You could be excellent at theater. You could be the type of person that also loves children, okay? Because the fifth house represents play, it represents enjoying life. You could be the type of person who loves to build casual relationships. So you might not be the type of person who likes to commit too quickly. You might be the type that likes to play the field, that likes to appeal to different people, and who enjoys having that variety in your relationships where you can really just put yourself out there and enjoy life and the love of life. This is the house that Leo naturally sits. So when you have Venus in the fifth house, it's a lot like having Venus conjunct your sun, okay? So when you have Venus conjunct the sun, this is a very charismatic placement. It's a type of placement that appeals to a lot of different people. So you're able to assist other people in finding the joy and the love of life. Okay? When you have Venus in the fifth house, this is the type of placement where you are able to attract many different lovers. You probably are only single because you want to be, okay? And if you are single, it's probably not for long. But for some of you, you might enjoy playing the field. You might like to be able to get that attention from different people, and that's okay. This is the type of placement where you are very charismatic. You might be excellent at theater. You might be good at not only public speaking, but entertaining a crowd. With Venus in the fifth house, you could also be excellent with children, and children could naturally flock to you with this placement. So when you have Libra here in your fifth house, you find joy in your social relationships. You like being able to help people, you like being able to assist people in the things that they enjoy pursuing. So you are the friend that likes to go with someone to, that hair appointment. You're the person who likes to accompany your friends on tasks and everyday things that they like to do. And you get joy out of social connectivity. You get joy purely out of just connecting, okay? So with Libra in the fifth house, you get joy out of social connectivity, connecting with people who you love and care about, and connecting with people in general. This is the house placement of a people person. So you enjoy being able to go out with people, with your friends, with your loved ones, and accompanying them on everyday tasks and activities that they have to do, not because of the activity itself, but just so that you can connect with others, all right? So when you have Libra in your fifth house, you also will be really good at anything that has to do with aesthetics and performance. This could mean that you like to be able to do things such as participate in fashion shows in whatever area you might fit into that. You could be the type of person who likes art shows. You could be the type of person, because this is the house of art, of performance, of theater and creativity, who is into art and artistic expression. And Libra is also a very sincerely, because it is ruled by Venus, artistic sign. But whatever your specific interest is, you are going to enjoy displaying that to the world, to groups of people, to people who you love, as well as those who you would like to get to know and build a connection or reputation with. With Taurus in the fifth house, you enjoy and get pleasure from things that are sensual, things that are appealing to your own physical touch. Remember, Taurus is a sign that likes to connect through sensual pleasure, but also sensual experiences. Taurus is a very sensual, down-to-earth sign. So while Libra might love things for the way that they look, Taurus not only loves things for the way that they look, but also the way that it physically makes them feel, all right? While Libra is the type of sign that cares more about how things make them feel emotionally, Taurus loves things for the way it makes them feel, not only emotionally, but also more so physically, especially when it comes to things like clothes, jewelry, and aesthetic pleasures, like, the couch you have in your living room, the clothes that you have in your closet, the coat that you wear. It doesn't necessarily just have to be visually appealing. It also has to be appealing to Taurus as well, okay, to how it makes Taurus feel, to the experience and the luxury and the experience of luxury that Taurus has in its life, okay? So when Taurus is in the fifth house, you naturally get joy from those things that give you sensual pleasure. So this is, things such as that great cup of coffee, that smooth wine, that, great cigar, and the way that it makes you feel. It is the way that your pet feels when you pet it. It is the way that you feel when you walk down the street and the shoes you have on, okay? So while the sign of Libra might want the high heels that everybody notices, for Taurus, if their feet hurt while they have those high heels on, they're not going to want to wear those shoes, okay? So this is about not only having things and experiences in life that are visually appealing, it's also about having those things that are aesthetically pleasing that also make them feel amazing as well. When you have Taurus in this house, you're going to be a very down-to-earth people that comforts people in the way that you move about the world, okay? This is an area of life where you can be very therapeutic. So you might be interested in things such as art therapy, or you might just enjoy art for its calming effect on you, okay? This is the effect that we see with Taurus in the fifth house. You also really enjoy sensual relationships. So you are the type of person who enjoys people that make you feel at ease, that enjoys relationships that are not pretentious at all, that are down to earth, where you can truly reveal your deepest feelings or your emotions without feeling like you have to put on an air or a front for people. So that is Venus, Taurus, Libra in the fifth house. Now we're going to go on to the sixth. So now let's look at Venus in the sixth house. So when you have Venus in the sixth house is the house of work. It is the house naturally ruled by, or the house where Virgo would naturally sit, okay? This is the house that you would focus on all things Virgoan, which would be health, fitness, well-being, and of course work. All right, so this has to do with how you approach your work. With Venus sitting in this house, it's really important to you that you maintain your beauty through how you approach your health. So eating right, exercising, fitness, these would all be things that would be very important to you. Also, if you have Libra here specifically in the sixth house, it's really important that you work in not only a beautiful or visually appealing, whatever that means to you, workspace and environment, but the people that you work with also need to be very harmonious in nature. A harmonious work environment, especially one that lends itself to art, or that is artistically appealing and that appeals to your creative side, is going to be very, very important for you, okay? When you have Libra here specifically in your sixth house, you are big on having balance in your life, all right? You could be very attentive to your significant others or the people in your life's health, and try to do everything that you can to make sure that they are kept healthy and in a positive state of mind, in a balanced state of being as well. It's really important when you have this placement that you don't forget about your own health, that you don't forget to look after yourself, because you can spend so much time worrying about those around you, about those, in your inner circle, that you forget to bring balance to your own life. This is also a sign and house position where you can spread yourself a little bit thin and worry so much about the well-being of others that you forget to bring that energy inward and focus on you. So make sure that you focus on yourself as well. When you have Taurus here, you're a very stable person who cares a lot about the quality of work that you do. So you're not the type of person to just want to get something done. You want to get it done right, you want to get it done well, and you want it to be something that is going to satisfy you emotionally when you see your finished product. So when you have Taurus in this house, you can be a little bit stubborn when it comes to work. Make sure that you do look at both sides of all issues when it comes to things that happen in your workplace or just in your everyday interactions with those that you work with. Make sure that you are looking at the other person's perspective, how they feel about things as well, how they see situations where you both are involved, so that you can negotiate and so that you are able to build good connections and relationships with those that you work with. When it comes to your health, you like having a stable routine, but also make sure that you are not stubborn and set in your ways and unwilling to try new things when things are no longer working for you. So when you have Venus in your 7th house, this is the house where Venus is naturally at home. This is the house of Libra, all right? So this is a house where Venus naturally is going to do her best. When you have Venus here, you are naturally very good at relationships. This is an excellent placement to have. It's just as good of a placement as having the moon in the 7th house or even the sun, in the sense that it makes you excellent at relationships in general. Venus in the 7th house people are really good at being able to connect with people, not just on a, lighthearted people person, everyday interaction type of, energy, but also in the way that they connect with people. They're able to deeply and instinctively be able to understand people at their core almost upon meeting them. It's a very instinctive and intuitive talent that they have. So you're going to be the type of person who's able to read people like a book, and you're going to be able to know how to appeal to them. You want to be careful because this is the type of placement where you could find yourself never having a shortage of relationships, which is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing too, depending on who wants to connect with you. So make sure that you are choosing to connect with people who can bring the same value to relationships that you do. So when you have Libra in the 7th house, this makes you a social butterfly. This makes you the type of person who is just naturally good at connecting with people in general. You're a people person, you like to people watch, you like to be able to go out and connect with people in order to enhance your own experience in life, all right? So when you have Libra here, one of the things that you do want to be careful of is building your identity around your significant other, around other people, around things other than just yourself and what you bring to the table. Because remember, people come and go, but you will always be you, and you will always be the one that has to have your own back, all right? So be careful when it comes to building your identity around others. When you have Taurus here in your 7th house, you really pride yourself on building intimate connections. You might be an introvert. You might not be the type of person who likes to be around a lot of people. In fact, a lot of your spare time may be spent on handcrafting and perfecting certain areas of your life that you want to find appealing or that you find pleasure in. So, you could be the type of person who likes to create things with your hands. You could be into arts and crafts. You could spend a lot of your energy and pouring out your time and energy on those things that you find aesthetically pleasing and pleasurable in life. This could be doing hair. This could be making clothes. This could be designing something. This could even be carpentry, because that can be something that you might find visually appealing that could also appeal to your senses, because you have to physically make it, okay? So those are all things that might appeal to you if you have Taurus in the 7th house. You like quality relationships, and you're not afraid to wait for those relationships to be built or to appear in your life. So you're not the type of person to rush out and to get into a relationship so that you don't feel alone, all right? You're the type of person to wait and to build those quality relationships, to build those friendships first, to build, those connections. And then on top of that, to go ahead and to, out of those relationships, cultivate the value of connection that you seek. When you have Taurus in the 7th house, you want to make sure that you are building relationships that do benefit you. What you don't want to do is to hang on to people for the sake of comfort or because they've always been there, okay? You want to make sure that you are willing to adapt, that you're willing to adapt to change and the evolution of those relationships. You also want to make sure that you are willing to let go of people when the time comes, because as we all know, no one is meant to be in our life forever, okay? Or most people aren't meant to be in our life forever, especially when it comes to friendships. Those are relationships that are very transient, that you may have for a few years in your life or a certain period in your life. And then when it comes to more serious relationships, a lot of times those do ebb and flow. So you want to make sure that you are allowing those relationships to evolve and that you are letting go of them when they no longer serve you, all right? So when you have Venus in your 8th house, this is the house of sex, of the occult, of other people's money, of law, all right? So you could be very good at being persuasive, at being diplomatic. You might also have some natural psychic or mediumship abilities. So when you have Venus here, you are naturally good at building connections between things that have to do with the other. So this could be otherworldly connections. These could be connecting with the spirit world. This is a placement that is typically found with a lot of people who do have those natural mediumship abilities, natural psychic abilities, all right? People who are naturally good at connecting with the other side. For some of you, this could mean that you have a natural connection to ancestors. This could mean that when you've had dreams of people who have passed away. This could mean that you are the type of person to get a lot of premonitions in life also. If you have Venus in your 8th house, you're probably very good at building those strong connections through sex as well. So you're probably a very memorable sex partner. It's probably something that comes very easily and naturally to you to be able to feel comfortable and in your own skin during those intimate interactions. So you probably are very comfortable, just being able to express yourself. You probably, don't feel uncomfortable being in the nude, being, expressing those sexual parts of yourself as well. This is a placement that a lot of strippers have, that a lot of people have who are naturally just comfortable with expressing their sexuality, all right? This is a very magnetic placement, so you want to make sure that you do set boundaries with people, because a lot of times when you do have Venus in the 8th house, people can be so drawn to you that they try to cross your boundaries. So it's very important that you do maintain boundaries with others and that you're not afraid to sometimes make other people feel uncomfortable by setting your boundaries for what is okay and what is not okay for you. When you have Libra here in your 8th house, you could be a really good medium specifically. You could be really good about talking about the spirit world. You could be very good with stocks, because the 8th house does have to do with other people's money as well. So you might be really good at working with other people's money or teaching other people how to handle their finances, all right? You could be good at accounting. You could be good at teaching other people how to invest. When it comes to Taurus being in the 8th house, you can be really good at investing as well. You could be good at specifically investing in things that are physical, like collectibles, like art that you would collect and invest in, antiques, things that are physical that you would put your money into, such as real estate as well. But with Taurus in your 8th house, in addition to that, you are good at connecting with people on a deeper level. You would probably be really good at therapy or just helping people emotionally. You're probably the friend that people come to when they want a shoulder to cry on. You're probably the person that people reach out to when they want someone to bounce their ideas and emotions off of, so they can deeply connect with themselves. Remember, when you have a Taurus in 8th house placement, not to use too much of your emotional energy on others to the point where you forget about yourself. It's important for you to make emotional space for yourself as well. When you have Venus in your 9th house, you probably feel at your best. You probably enjoy life the most when you're traveling, when you are expanding. You probably like things that are larger than life. So you might like art or things in your home that are very, exaggerated, that are big decorations, things that everyone can see, things that are very flamboyant. Think Sagittarian. So this is the house that Sagittarius would naturally be in. You might also really love nature. You might love connecting with animals. You might have pets or really enjoy being around small animals as well. You would naturally connect to anything that has to do with nature, that has to do with expansion, and the things that are larger than life. So when you have Libra in the ninth house, you enjoy traveling with others. You also build part of your identity around the things that you have expanded into in the ways that you have grown in your life. You might actually be a great teacher, someone who really values higher education, and you might really be the type of person who enjoys being around a social crowd that is very learned, that's very intellectual and academic, because you love exploring and expanding your mind. You love intellectual expansion. You like to be able to be around others who have gone through different walks of life and have different philosophies of life than you yourself have, okay? So you enjoy learning from other people's life experiences. If you have Taurus in the 11th house, you probably attract a lot of people and enjoy attracting friends who are very financially stable, who are very solid, who are very dependable, people who may not be the life of the party. They might be more introverted, they might be more composed into themselves, but you don't really care about that. What you care about when it comes to connecting with people is that they're trustworthy, that you can call them in a time of need, all right? That you are able to trust them with your secrets, that you can confide in them and rely on them when it counts, that they show up to events on time, all right? So you're not sitting there waiting for them. These are the qualities, as well as being creative, as well as being a great listener, that you look for in friends, and as well as people that you relate to, people that you might date as well, if you have Taurus in the 11th house, all right? If you have Libra here, this is also any Venusian sign in the 11th house is potentially a fame indicator, okay? But if you have Libra in the 11th house, this means that you're extremely popular, okay? So you could be a social butterfly. You probably attract a lot of people who, may not necessarily be people that you tell your darkest, deepest secrets to, but they're people who you can have fun with, people you can have a good night out with, take a lot of great pictures with, and post them to your social media. This is a placement that cares about how they look to the public and wants to build a positive and influential public representation of themselves and reputation, okay? So if you have this placement, you're going to be very concerned with how you look to others because you really base a lot on your reputation. Also with this placement, you might enjoy attracting friends that are artists, that are designers, that care about aesthetics, that have beautiful things. This is a placement that's attracted to the beautiful people, all right? That is a phrase that you're going to really resonate with if you have Libra in the 11th house, okay? So if you have Venus here in the 11th house, this is naturally the house where Aquarius would lie, all right? So when you think about that, Aquarius is a sign of friendships. So with Aquarius being the sign of friendship, you're going to want to be friends first with your lover, whoever you decide that is going to be, okay? So you are going to want to build a homie, lover, friend type connection with the person that you are interested in, okay? You might even decide that you want to date somebody that you've been friends with for a while. This is definitely a placement that can end up dating their friends, that can end up finding connections with people who you relate to, because what's most important for you is not necessarily the romance, even though you might value romance because of other placements in your chart. But what's most valuable to you as a Venus 11th house placement is that you have somebody who's like a best friend to you, all right? Even in the bedroom, somebody that you can talk to, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can kick it with, okay? And that you don't have to put on airs for necessarily. Somebody that you can actually bring out with your friends and that they can blend in with the friend group, that your friend group accepts them as well. So these are things that are important to you if you have Venus in the 11th house, all right? It's very possible to fall in love with a best friend or to fall in love with a childhood friend with this placement. Another thing that's possible for you if you have Venus in the 11th house is that because Aquarius does rule over technology, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which rules quick changes, technology, moving forward, the future, is that you could very well meet your partner over social media or through a dating site. So if you have this placement, you may be especially lucky with meeting people who you're compatible with over the internet. If you have Venus in the 12th house, this is a very different type of love than Venus in the 11th, okay? Venus in the 11th can be a little bit shallow because of the fact that it's not necessarily built on depth. It's built on how well you relate, how much you can have fun, okay? With Venus in the 12th, this is a deep love. This is a love where you have to spiritually and psychically connect with the other person. You can also attract a lot of very transformational relationships in your love life. So when you have Venus in the 12th, you might attract a lot of tumultuous partners. You might attract a lot of partners that challenge you deeply because that's what you crave on the inside, okay? So you end up attracting partners that sometimes may not be the most peaceful. You may not be, known for having the most peaceful relationships, but those relationships will change you and make you see yourself as well as life differently, okay? So that's what happens when you have Venus in the 12th house. Also, you really crave deep, intimate relationships. You probably like to connect with people over things that others might see as taboo. So you might like talking about things like ghosts or the spiritual realm and things that people don't often talk about in especially in the relationships, especially when first getting to know people. You might be the type of person who really likes horror movies or really likes the unseen, the unknown, and the marginalized. So you might end up attracting people who are kind of outcasts or or people don't really relate to, people who are considered misunderstood, okay? So those might be the type of people who you attract. You could also attract people who you feel like you need to free, okay? Because the 12th house is the house of imprisonment. It is the house of things being kept hidden. So you might attract a lot of people who feel very misunderstood. You might be the type of person who attracts the bad boy type or the bad girl type, the type that is considered taboo, the outcast, the type that a lot of people might push to the side because they're misunderstood, the frustrating or starving artist, okay? These are all the types of people who you like because they intrigue you. So you might end up attracting a lot of people such as this and connecting on a deeper level with them, having a very, very strong bond, almost as if you're psychically connected to these people because of the fact that you like having that deep connection. For you, you have to have connections that are more than just the surface, that hit well beneath the surface, where you are connected on an unseen level almost with your partners. So if you have Libra in the 12th house, you might struggle with feeling beautiful, okay? You might struggle with feeling as if you're well liked. And the funny thing about this placement is that when you have a 12th house placement, whatever sign is in your 12th house, this is something you're actually naturally good at. This is something that you have deep within you that just needs to be embraced. It needs to be cultivated. It needs to be celebrated. And you need to have a little bit more confidence in this area. So for my Libra 12th houses, you are actually naturally very beautiful, but you need to believe in your own beauty. You need to validate yourself, okay? You need to make sure that you are your biggest cheerleader in this area of your life and that you are focusing on your confidence, that you're focusing on, you know, building social relationships with people who you resonate with, people who are your soul family, people who understand you, who you click with, okay? Because you might not be the type of person who clicks with just anyone, okay? But you're actually naturally, deep down, very charismatic. You're actually very good at aesthetics, at beautifying things in people, and probably seeing the beauty deep within people that they don't see in themselves. So if you have a Libra 12th house, your mission and part of your mission in life is to celebrate your own inner beauty and bring that out of yourself, okay? If you have a Taurus 12th house, what you crave is security, and you might not have had this in your life, okay? So you may have always been financially struggling. You may have had to really fight to, you know, have a home, to be stable, or to have stable relationships, and also to have those things around you that are beautiful, to have a beautiful home environment. So you may have always lived in places where you felt uncomfortable, where you felt cramped, or where it really wasn't yours. Maybe you always lived with people, or you never had things for yourself, okay? With the Taurus 12th house also, it is part of your journey in life to bring that security to yourself, and you probably also make a lot of people around you feel very secure naturally, because it's one of your natural gifts, all right? But with the 12th house being the house that we have to work at, that we have to, you know, any planets here and the sign that's here, is going to be an energy that's a little bit suppressed, okay? So you might have to work a little bit harder in life to see that security come to pass for you, to see yourself be able to have that home that you want, or to, you know, especially for a lot of the Taurus 12th house people out there, you might really want to own real estate. That might be something that's really important to you. Or you might have always wanted to have your own, you know, orchard or garden, or your own little place in nature that you own. You might have dreamed of owning fruit trees and, you know, vegetation and things like that, or even animals, horses, things of that nature, because Taurus does rule nature, all right? It rules, you know, Taurus is known as the sign of Mother Earth. It is ruled by not only Venus, but the archetype of Taurus is the Greek goddess Hera. That's one of the archetypes of deities that rule Taurus, okay? So when you think about Hera, she was the goddess of the home, the hearth. Okay, this will probably translate to the goddess Yemaya, okay, in Yoruba tradition, or Santeria, where she is the goddess of the home, okay? So when it comes to Taurus, what's important to you is your security, all right? This is an aspect that you need to bring out of yourself. You want to feel a lot more grounded in life. So, you know, you may feel very ungrounded in certain situations where you feel insecure. This is something that you need to bring out of yourself, okay? So that's Taurus in the 12th house. If you're interested in getting a reading from me, make sure that you do visit my store. If you want to see more videos like this video, subscribe to the channel. And also make sure, if you want more uplifting spiritual content, more astrological information throughout the week when there are different transits and different things going on in the heavens, I'll be posting on my Twitter, on my Instagram as well. Make sure that you also follow me on TikTok, where I post lots of interactive readings that you won't see on this channel. All right, so I will see you guys later. Bye.